Welcome back, fellow viewers and fans. Today we're going to be going over the two battles that got me into the Master Ball tier, which I am finally excited about. But yeah, here we're leaving with Dragapult and Dusclops. I have a couple of options here. I was predicting that the Excadrill would have a Focus Sash. For those of you that don't know, Focus Sash allows you to survive with 1 HP if you get like knocked out in one attack. And the Duraludon, I was expecting either Weakness Policy or a Focus Sash. So I opted to, I believe, let's see what happens here. Yep, he's going to go ahead and Dynamax his Duraludon, which I kind of anticipated. And then there we go. Yep, I protected for one turn with my Dragapult because I thought that he was going to attack my Dragapult with his Duraludon and then activate my Weakness Policy, but instead he went for the Max Darkness onto Dusclops to lower the special defense. But either way, I got the Shadow Sneak onto the Excadrill to break the Focus Sash, and then after that I can do the Shadow Sneak onto my Dragapult to activate my Weakness Policy. For those of you that don't know, Weakness Policy, when you get hit by a super effective attack, which is boosted damage, you will activate it and increase and pretty much double your attack. So here we go. I'm going to Dynamax my Dragapult, and then in comes the Shadow Sneak onto my Dragapult. I activate the Weakness Policy. Now my attack's super strong. I go for the Max Phantasm onto the Gyarados and knock it out to take out the Gyarados and then also weaken the defense on the Duraludon. But yeah, unfortunately he was able to take out my Dragapult though, so kind of took me by surprise, but what can you do? But of course, now my next step is to bring in Gastrodon, because Gastrodon is the kind of Pokemon that could tank that Duraludon very well. So once again, we have Togedemaru. I go for a Shadow Sneak onto it because it has an ability that also lets it survive one hit. So I go ahead and go for the Shadow Sneak onto the Togedemaru, and then I believe I use Recover here on my Gastrodon so that I can survive the last turn of Dynamax on this Duraludon. But yeah, the attack goes down. That doesn't really matter to me. I recover, so I survive one turn. And then also get my leftovers recovery right there. Down goes the Duraludon back to normal. So now next up I go for an Ally Switch to keep my Gastrodon safe because I anticipated that he would use a hard-hitting attack on my Gastrodon, and lo and behold, he does not, but he did go for the Zing Zap. I believe they might have gone for like a double target on my Dusclops, but either way, I'm okay with it. So yeah, leftovers activated. I took out the Togedemaru with an Earth Power, and then back comes the Excadrill. But yeah, the Excadrill was kind of a threat that I had to worry about, so I had to figure out how to take it out. But yeah, overall, I pull out my Gastrodon and then bring in my Corviknight because I thought that he would use Earthquake or High Horsepower on this turn. Most likely High Horsepower because if you use Earthquake, it would hurt his Duraludon incredibly. But yep, I use a Nightshade just to get some chip damage onto Duraludon. And for those of you that don't know, Nightshade does damage based on your level instead of a flat amount, which is the perfect move for something like Dusclops. But yeah, here I knew that he was going to take out my Dusclops, so I went for a Shadow Sneak before he took it out. And then and then I go for a Bulk Up to make my Corviknight sturdier against my opponents, boost my attack and defense. But yeah, now I go for a Roost to survive the next attack on the Duraludon. But yeah, he got really lucky there because his Dark Pulse hit for a critical amount. Otherwise, it would not have hit as hard as it typically does. But yep, there's the High Horsepower. He goes for the Dark Pulse. I use a Roost to recover the health on my Corviknight. And now we're back at the advantage. I survived this High Horsepower with Gastrodon, so I go for the Scald. And then I get leftovers recovery. And then finally, we just go ahead and finish up here. I go for one more Bulk Up because I knew that I could survive any attack. And then he goes for the Dark Pulse on my Gastrodon, which I was kind of glad that I survived because I thought that I wasn't going to make it. But yeah, I've got leftovers recovery, and then yeah, I couldn't really use an extra attack there because he flinched my Gastrodon with his Dark Pulse. And for those of you that are not aware, flinch causes you to not move for 1 turn. It's kind of like you just pause. Yep, either way, I was able to finish with a body press. Yep, so that's the first win. And now for the next victory. Here we have Gastrodon. No, not Gastrodon. We have Dragapult and Dusclops as our lead, going up against an Inteleon and Sableye. Yep, I was kind of undecided on what I wanted to do here because I had multiple options. I could have gone for an ally switch in case he had Ice Beam on Inteleon or Foul Play with the Sableye, or he might have tried to burn, or he could try to burn my my Dragapult as well. But yep, overall, I just go ahead and went for the Dynamax on my Dragapult, and I was going to push the offense onto the Inteleon. But yep, the Inteleon goes for a Protect to keep itself safe, so either way, I still do the chip damage I wanted to do to take out the Inteleon on the next turn. Go for Max Phantasm so that I get a defense drop as well on the Sableye as well as the Inteleon. And then after that, I go for another Max Phantasm onto the Sableye. And then with Dusclops, I go for the Shadow Sneak to once again activate the weakness policy. Yep, here's something that I was happy about. He brought in his Braviary. I went for the weakness policy. He probably brought in the Braviary because if I use Max Phantasm onto the Inteleon again, then he would have soaked the damage. But instead, I opted to take out the Sableye because I anticipated a foul play with the Sableye. Alright, so then, of course, next up, I go for an ally switch because I had a feeling that they were going to pressure my Dragapult. And then I just went for... What did I go for? Did I go for Max Wyrmwind, or I think Max Airstream onto the Braviary? Or I believe I took out the Inteleon here. But yeah, overall, Inteleon used Protect. Then the Braviary uses Max Guard. I use Ally Switch, and then I go for Max Wyrmwind. And, oh yep, I did use Max Wyrmwind on the Braviary. But instead they used Protect and Max Guard to stall out the last turn of Dynamax. So, my answer to that was to use Phantom Force to vanish because I had a feeling that they were going to target my Dragapult, which he did. So I avoided that attack, and then I used Will-O-Wisp onto the Braviary to cut his attack in half, but unfortunately the Braviary had a Lumberry, so it was able to protect itself from that burn. So I just thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to survive. Oh yeah, he brings in a Haxorus to absorb my Phantom Force, and comes to Max Airstream to take out my Dusclops and give them the speed advantage. We have Dusclops goes down, Dragapult comes in, uses Phantom Force against the Haxorus, and down goes the Haxorus that was sacrificed. So, of course, my counter to that was to bring in Morpeko now. Good old Morpeko, just coming in and smiling and switching moods. But yeah, so, of course, I use Dragon Darts here to hit both of the targets at the same time, and then I have Morpeko come in and use Aura Wheel as well. But yeah, there's Brave Bird onto Dragapult, and Dragapult goes down. And then, of course, it gets the chip damage that I really needed it to take so that Morpeko can take down the Braviary with Aura Wheel. Down goes Braviary, and then up goes my speed. So now I can outspeed the Inteleon. For those of you that don't know, Aura Wheel, it switches every turn between Dark and Electric. Electric was on that turn, but no matter what, it also increases your speed by 1 level as well. By 1 level, I mean it's like a 50% increase. But yeah, and then of course here we have Inteleon. We go for an Aura Wheel to do some hard-hitting neutral damage. Unfortunately, it wasn't electric, but either way, we have Aura Wheel onto the Inteleon, and he takes, and down goes Inteleon. Yep, that's how I got into the Master Ball tier with these 2 wins and this specific team, which I'm happy with. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and then see you at the next video.